nodded her head, and they asked where in the room Lucia was. Jess turned and looked around the room, then focused on the corner and said, "She's standing right there."
First of all, you keep talking about she visits me sometimes. Oh yeah, we're gonna be visiting something one time. It's called the adoption center. We're gonna drop you there. It ain't gonna take much. You ain't gonna be having you and this little demon that you seeing.
I am the stone that the builder refused. I am the visual, the inspiration.
More Abdul up next. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. How's everybody been? You know what I'm saying? It's been a few days. I'm sorry. If I'm ever not on this channel, just know side quests getting me. I'm on a side quest. Today we're reacting to 4 children drawings with disturbing backstories. This is gonna be interesting. I believe everything on this video. I'm already know it's not gonna be fake because I don't be trusting kids. Ain't no kid gonna be drawing the things we seen on this list. Bro, first of all, I can't even draw. You tell me to draw a swimming pool, I'ma draw, it's gonna look like a bottle of peanut butter. So how is he drawing in detail the devil? It's because he is the devil. I rebuke.
You gotta go.
Let's get in here and let's get to hating on some kids when we know dang well I'm way too old to be hating on these little boys, but I'ma still do it anyway. Like the video before we even get started and let's hate!
Children can use drawing as a way of expressing feelings or emotions that they don't understand, but sometimes children simply draw what's familiar to them. So if a child is drawing pictures holding hands with strangers, there might be something more going on there.
First of all, it's clearly obvious to tell when a child has something going on with what they're drawing. If it's anything other than the sun in the corner, that yellow sun in the very corner of the paper, or a shoe, or that one super S everybody drew, it's something going on. Like, what you mean you drawing the devil at 8 years old? You are the devil. You know what I'm saying?
Martin and his wife are the parents of 2 children, a 6-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old son.
Okay.
Martin shared with me something disturbing that he and his wife had discovered recently. Their daughter, who I'll refer to as Jess, loves to draw, and so they'd give her all the art supplies she'd need to keep her quiet and entertained for hours. They have an entire Crayola backpack full of art supplies that Jess uses.
This her book bag? Is that a clear book bag?
You gotta go.
That weak ass book bag, hell nah. Why it look like it's about to break? Hell nah. That heavy ass book bag. You run holding this book bag, it's gonna break in 30 seconds. The hell? Recycled ass book bag. Goof ass book bag. Give a damn. Oh, she's 6 years old, I'm doing what you mean. That don't mean the book bag not trash. So I can't roast the book bag?
Filled with markers, colored pencils, crayons, and construction paper. Jess has piles of drawings in her room and even in her backpack. And most of them are normal, innocent drawings. However, one day Martin found a picture in Jess's room that he was kind of confused about at first. It was a picture of some random looking woman holding Jess's hand, but it didn't look like Martin's wife, who was blonde. It was a brunette woman. Martin asked Jess who the woman was, and she said it was the woman who would visit her sometimes. Sounds like something a 6-year-old with an imaginary friend would say.
What? I think it sounds like it's the woman who visits her sometimes. It doesn't sound like what an imaginary friend would say. The background should be familiar. It's the woman that visits her sometimes. It's the literal sentence she said out her mouth. She's 6 years old. You think she's alluding to some like mysterious No, it's actually the woman that visits her. So she's 6. She can't even spell visits. How is she supposed to be talking about somebody else that you don't know? It's actually what she's talking about. She's not Sherlock Holmes. She's like 6 years old. She's gonna just say it.
Visit her sometimes. Sounds like something a 6-year-old with an imaginary friend would say.
No.
When Martin asked what her friend's name was, Jess said Lucia. This was immediately cause for alarm to Martin, so he went to show his wife the picture and asked his wife if it looked like her sister. At first, his wife said it looks like it could be anybody, but when Martin said her daughter said her name was Lucia, she gave Martin this telling look as if she immediately understood. Lucia was the name of Martin's wife's deceased sister, who died before either of the couple's children were born. The couple went to the daughter's room and asked Jess who exactly Lucia was. Jess again said, "She visits me sometimes." Trying to get more details, the couple asked what time she usually visits, and what do they talk about. She responded something along the lines of, "She visits at night sometimes when I'm drawing." Martin's wife asked Jess to draw another picture of her the next time she sees Lucia, this time with more details, and Jess agreed to do so. From now on, Martin and his wife would keep Jess's door ajar just so they could hear if Jess was talking to someone. It wasn't until a few nights later that while in the kitchen, the couple both heard Jess talking to someone in her room all of a sudden.
Oh,
So
Lord.
the two went towards the room quietly to listen to what she was saying. There were long gaps in between what Jess was saying, but she was clearly talking to someone or something that didn't appear to be there, because she seemed to be answering questions that the parents couldn't hear being asked. At one point, Jess said, "They asked about you when they saw my picture of you. They want me to draw you again." Then Jess stopped talking completely, and that was when Martin and his wife entered the room and asked if she were talking to Lucia again. She nodded her head, and they asked where in the room Lucia was. Jess turned and looked around the room, then focused on the corner and said, "She's standing right there."
Oh, hell no. First of all, you keep talking about she visits me sometimes. She visits me sometimes. Oh, yeah, we're going to be visiting something one time. It's called the Adoption Center. We're going to drop you there. It ain't going to take much. You ain't going to be having you and this little demon that you seen. Yeah, you came from my boss, but yeah, that ain't come from my boss. I don't know what you got standing in the corner, but yeah, y'all standing in the adoption home, y'all. I asked for a child, not a Ouija board. That who he feeling like. You can still visit. Just go visit them. Yeah, one of them, they don't got no daddy over there. You play that role. Oh, she visit me sometimes. Yeah, she visit me sometimes. Yeah, tell him to be your daddy too, cause I'm not your daddy no more. Come on. I'm black. I was waiting for a reason.
No.
Martin and his wife looked in the corner of the room to nothing.
Paranormal
Both of them
activity.
agreed they felt an uneasy feeling in the room and were extremely uncomfortable.
If I'm being honest, bro, you gotta just whoop the devil out. Don't be real, like, don't worry, this will sanitize your spirit, this whooping. This one's off the tree, I might let him pick that one up, old school style.
You gonna get it.
Who getting whooped tonight? Who getting whooped tonight? He getting whooped tonight, he getting whooped tonight, he getting whooped tonight, he getting whooped tonight.
Martin's wife said softly to Jess to draw what Lucia looks like right now, down to every last detail. And after Jess said, "Okay, Mom," the couple left the room. Jess didn't speak anymore, and the parents were left feeling a little uneasy. It was a short time later that Jess called her mom back into the room, and so both Martin and his wife went back to her room, and she presented a new picture. This picture confirmed the couple's fear. This was the photo. In this new photo, with a lot more detail, Jess drew Lucia to have blue eyes, a small mole above her lip, and dressed in white. Lucia was buried in white and had blue eyes and a small mole above her lip.
And a big ass head. Don't forget the fact that her head looked like a balloon. She about to start floating. Let me guess, she able to float because her head's so big. Big ass head. Hell no. Head look like a whole lollipop. Long ass neck. The neck to head proportion ain't proportionate. Top of her head look like a gumball machine. Goof ass.
You gotta
do something with that. I ain't gonna lie.
Martin's wife was never close with her sister, having only attended the funeral for a short time, and so Jess had never learned of her deceased aunt yet. There were also no pictures around the house that she could have seen. Martin and his wife told Jess that they didn't want her talking to Lucia anymore. This was not because Lucia did anything particularly horrible in her life per se, but rather that it was genuinely scaring the couple.
Nah.
The couple had a priest come bless the house and ask any spirits to please leave in peace. According to Martin, they haven't had to deal with any further instances.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie. You could fool them, but you not fooling me.
We had no problem with Lucia.
You ain't go to her funeral, and then when you went, you ain't even had the decency to stay for 5 minutes. You came for the food. Then you don't want her name being said around the house. You don't want her legacy to live on. Look at how she do it. What she do to you, bro? She ain't even do anything to you.
This was submitted by an art teacher from an elementary school. Twice a year with each class, the teacher would hold what she called draw and tell, which would have the children draw anything that meant something to them, and then tell the story behind it. This was with a 3rd grade.
Oh, another thing, bro, I gotta say, bro, first of all, we gotta keep letting that kid draw. That kid's on ultimate creativity timing. That kid could have explained their experiences that they seen. Y'all could have wrote that into a movie. That kid is drawing art right there. He's, especially with this story being told, do you know how much you could sell the art for? That's a person that's seen a demon. That's art. That's real art.
This was with a 3rd grade class. As most students were drawing pictures of them and their families, or pictures with their pets, or any other number of things.
Imagine this, the strange thing about the Johnsons. What he drawn? What you draw, son? I drew my daddy peenie.
One boy was drawing what looked like nothing but fire. The other kids at his table were noticeably glancing over and laughing at him as he did it. And as the art teacher noticed this, she went over to the boy and asked him why he was drawing fire. He's supposed to be drawing something that means something to him. The boy said, "I know, I'm not finished yet." So the teacher let the boy continue to do his thing. As the students were finishing up their drawings, the teacher came back to the boy and now noticed that the boy had added a house to the drawing. The teacher asked the boy to come with him to the hall, and she took the drawing with them. When in the hall, the teacher asked the boy why he was drawing a burning house, as this was completely inappropriate for a draw and tell. The boy replied, "No, it's not. This is the house my parents tried to burn down with me in it." The teacher was speechless.
What the hell you say to me? I would just pull out my phone. Say that one more time. All right, now come with me. He gonna be confused on why he getting put in handcuffs after saying his trauma. Let's just make sure with the police what you're saying is true. My hearing aid gotta be fooling me wrong. I know I'm getting old, but I can't be getting this old. You gonna sneak and trauma dump me like that? You ain't even color inside the lines talking about the house my parents tried to burn me in. Type of house your ass is living into. This look like the Three Little Piggies house. What is the house out of straw? Weak ass house.
House my parents tried to burn down with me in it. The
Like
teacher
what?
was speechless and didn't know what to say. She kept the drawing and told him to take his seat, and told him we're not going to do the draw and tell. When they re-entered the
Right,
classroom,
you just
she
ruined
sat
it.
at her desk for a moment, fighting back tears, and eventually announced to the class that everyone would be taking their drawings home with them instead of doing draw and tell. This one comes from another parent who wanted to remain anonymous, so all names will be made up. Brad and Jane are the parents of Molly, who was 5 at the time of this happening. Molly is a quiet and well-behaved girl according to her father, which makes this story even creepier. Brad and Jane's bedroom is right next door to Molly's. The night the strange events began is when Molly came to her parents' room and said she's scared that something's in her closet. Brad walked her back to her room and showed her the inside of her closet to assure her that no monsters were in there. The next night, Molly returned to her parents' room, saying there's a monster inside her closet again. This time, Brad and Jane let Molly sleep with them, and then the following day, Molly drew a picture of the alleged monster she was seeing and showed it to her parents. Brad
Teen Titans go ass monster, weak ass monster. Man, if my child tell me they seeing this, man, you take your ass in there. You think I'm going in there? Son, that monster will me and you up. You think I'm going in there? Boy, I'm scarier than you. You going in first. Come on, man. You see how big his hands is? He got 6 fingers. I ain't doing a dang thing with him. Shit, I'll tell his ass sorry. Whatever you did to him, son, I know we blood, but whatever you did to him, you did it.
stated the picture admittedly creeped him out, but till this point, this all just seems like normal child stuff.
No,
Until
it doesn't.
One of the next nights,
No, it doesn't.
Brad and Jane woke up to Molly crying and screaming. They ran to her room to see what was wrong, and she said, "I'm bleeding," as she had her shirt lifted up. On her back were what looked like 2 scratch marks. Molly claimed it was the monster. Brad tore the bedroom and the whole house upside down looking for anybody that could have done it. When the house proved to be empty, Brad and Jane had no choice but to assume Molly probably did it to herself somehow, either intentionally or accidentally. But as time went on, and the couple had time to think about it, the chain of events seemed too crazy to just be coincidental.
The fact that the child hasn't slept in y'all room yet goes to show that y'all scared of whatever this is. I ain't even gonna lie, this looks scarier than Minecraft zombies. I can barely stay alive in that shit.
While the couple had Molly ease back into sleeping alone, Molly never changed her story that the monster was the one to scratch her back. To make her feel better about sleeping alone, they moved Molly's furniture to the spare bedroom and made that one her new room. Molly came to her parents' room a couple other times in the middle of the night, but both times, when asked if she saw the monster again, she said, "No, I'm just scared."
So Molly slept in every room but the parents' room, man. Parents be thinking they slick. You know what you doing? You know exactly what you doing. That kid's on their own. Man, I get it, you scared. I'm scared too. That's what it is. You can't help them with their homework with your dumb ass. And you can't even help them with their fake imaginary monsters they dealing with. What can you do? What can you teach them?
Luckily, no bodily harm was done to her in her sleep again. This following picture and story was submitted by Giovanna, who had found this picture on her desk in her room because she allows her 7-year-old brother to use her desk to draw on. She found it strange from the beginning that her brother would leave this on the desk in the first place, because normally he would take all of his drawings with him.
What's up with your dog's nose? Why does it got a meat on his nose? I'm over here looking like, bro, the dog Pinocchio? The dog be lying or something? Your dog got missing chromosomes? Who is May?
Him back to his room and hide them. But since he left this one, she felt like he wanted for her to see it. Upon taking a look at it looked like an innocent enough family drawing done by a 7-year-old. But then tucked away in the corner is a black figure labeled the Taking Man. Giovanna left this on her desk for a couple of days before she noticed the man in the corner after looking at the drawing again. The man is on a swing, but the family doesn't have a swing set. It could just be chalked up to the child being 7, but he had never asked their parents for a swing set, nor expressed any interest in one in general. Underneath the mysterious man labeled Taking Man appears to be some object which Giovanna thought may resemble a window or some kind of door in the ground. So she went out.
That looked like a glue bottle. You talking about a window in the ground. This is Elmer's glue. Is this not Elmer's glue? Or this is a candle sideways? Just look at it from a different angle. Look at it like this. This is a candle. Or this is Elmer's glue.
Outside to go check out the lawn for any sort of door, window, anything. But there wasn't anything. A few days later, while in the bathroom, which was across the hall from her brother's room, Giovanna was washing her face when she heard her brother giggling and talking. This could have just been him playing with his toys by himself, but still, after finishing up her skincare routine and rinsing off her face, Giovanna went to go check on her brother. His door was cracked open a bit, so she looked in and saw him on the ground talking to something under his bed. She quickly opened the door, and her brother got up and sat on his bed and turned his head to the TV. Upon asking him who he was talking to, he said he wasn't talking to anyone. Under the assumption he was just playing around, Giovanna went to sleep. The next morning, her brother woke up holding an empty glass, asking if she could fill it with chocolate milk. And so Giovanna went downstairs to fill its glass and come back up with a couple snacks for herself.
Okay, so the race has officially been exposed. Boom, boom, got him. First of all, nobody is not filling up no random glass with chocolate milk without asking what you doing that for. First of all, you're gonna have to beg somebody in a black household to fill it up with chocolate milk. They ain't doing it. They gonna say, what you wanna do that for? Why don't you just drink it out the bottle? Oh my God. But you got on my nerve. You said it was a little kid. You know he probably got a mohawk. That's why you got a mohawk. You think it's tough.
She went into her brother's room to oddly enough see him fast asleep. She woke him up and handed him the glass, and he insisted that he didn't ask for it. She knew he did though, so she didn't argue with him and left the glass next to his bed. That night around 4 a.m., Giovanna woke up to hear her brother talking again. So she went across the hall to her brother's room and peeked her head inside. And the last thing she remembers is hearing her brother talking to someone and seeing a black shadow in the room. The next thing she remembers is waking up in her bed the next morning. When confronting her brother, he denied any recollection of talking to anybody last night. When Giovanna decided to tell her parents about the drawing and what she thought she witnessed the night before, they had a talk with him, and he told them that the person in the picture is the Taking Man, and he takes things and brings them back. I really trust him. He's my best friend.
Man, y'all dumbasses still don't get it. Man, the son is light Yagami. He's talking to a Shinigami, gang. That's a Shinigami he's talking to. He's light.
He also gives me red berries. I think they're called cranberries.
And you
he
give
won't
him
come
apples.
back. Giovanna doesn't know if what she saw in her brother's room was a dream or not, but she remembers it vividly and says it didn't feel like a dream. And yet, if it weren't a dream, she has no recollection of what happened after she saw that shadow in her brother's room. Her little brother hasn't spoken of the Taking Man since.
Personally, let's just all go ahead and straight up say we rebuke. Yeah, I'm good off that. My kid got one time to talk about, oh, it's somebody who visits me till I never visit him again. For real. That's just how I'm talking. You know, that's how I get down. It's your boy Abdullah next. I'm gone.